Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is a build that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is a rare build. This build would be one of the most dominant builds if shooting and defense get balanced out. Because as of right now, it is not fucking balanced at all. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at this. If you guys are new to the channel though, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that fucking bell notification icon, man. I can't tell you enough that if you hit those, you'll never miss another video of mine, and we got plenty of content coming your way. Anyway, we're about to be getting into the ball hawk build, a shooting ball hawk build, because this build you are able to shoot, have an 80 plus 3-pointer when you get to a 99, and also you obviously have that really good defense as well. So this is the shooting ball hawk build. You get a little bit of finishing as well, and of course a little bit of playmaking. So this is pretty much a good all-around build, except that you are excelling at shooting and defense. You guys want to know how to build it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do right now. First things first, how exactly we're going to make this? What pie chart are we going to make this in? Obviously we're going to be choosing this pie chart right here, the shooting and defense pie chart. We get that excellent, and when I say excellent, I mean excellent defense, and we get that really good shooting as well. I mean, hey, we still get a high enough rating to shoot, because you know, you guys know how 2K is. So here's how we are going to build this. For defense, we're going to start with the majors. Defense, we're not going to bring our perimeter defense up any higher than a 77. Why? Because really, if we have like any higher than like an 80 pretty much, or if we even get to an 80, it'll pretty much just call you a perimeter lock. Trust me. And then lateral quickness is obviously going to be maxed, steal is obviously going to be maxed, and the reason why we're called a ball hawk is because we have a 90 plus steal rating without having an 83-pointer. That's the thing, you can't have an 83-pointer, and you really can't have like an 80 perimeter defense. So in this case, it pretty much just limits you on what you are available to have. So having a little lower perimeter defense is going to be the key for this. And then also maxing out lateral quickness, obviously maxing out steal is going to be really good. And then maxing out your defensive rebound is going to be important. And we're going to bring this up to a 52 offensive rebound, giving us 17 of our defensive badges. That's going to be all that we're going to be touching. Because why? Shooting takes up a lot. Shooting does take up a lot, and finishing also takes up a lot to even get remotely any badges. So for shooting though, we're going to bring this up to a 79. We're not going to be maxing it out. We're going to be having it at a 79. As I mentioned, if it's an 80 plus, you'll be called either a 3-point specialist, a 2-way sharp, or even a perimeter lock, depending on how your stats are. With these specific stats, you'll more than likely be called a 3-point specialist with the way that this build is made. So if you have over an 80, you're going to be called a 3-point specialist. But then obviously we're going to be maxing out free throw, and then we're going to be bringing up our mid-range to a 79 as well. Why? Because if you have an 80 plus mid-range, you'll be called like a mid-range shooter and all kinds of stuff like that. So keep that in mind. Mid-range shooter, 80 plus, when your 3-pointer is not an 80 plus. You guys understand what I'm saying. There's a lot of variables that go into what you're called, and a lot of the times you're called something because of one stat. So if your mid-range is literally at an 80, but everything else is exactly like how it should be for you to be called one thing, you're more than likely going to be called like a different thing and be called like a mid-range shooter or a mid-range specialist or something like that, 2-way mid-range, depending on what you're trying to make. So other than that, we have our 18 shooting, 17 defensive rebound badges. Now we're going to go for playmaking. Obviously we're going to be maxing out ball handling and pass accuracy, and then we're just going to bring this up 3 points, because you know, that's all we need. We just need 3 points in post moves, and we have 18 shooting, 11 playmaking, 17 defensive rebound badges. Now we're moving on to finishing. Finishing, we're going to be maxing out the 3 most important finishing stats. overall, which is close shot, driving layup, driving dunk. And the last 12 are going into standing dunk, giving us 3 finishing badges. So we have 3 finishing, 18 shooting, 11 playmaking, and 17 defensive and rebounding badges. So that is how we make our stats, how we want them to be called, what we are called. But that's not going to stop us from changing how our character actually is. Obviously, use any of these that you want, it's whatever. But we're not going to be 6'5", we're going to be 6'4". And the only reason why we're going to be 6'4" is because our speed goes up, our acceleration, our strength, but also our defense goes down a little bit, but only by 1. But the most important thing about our defense going down is that our steal, because we are just an inch shorter, goes up by 1. So that's very important. Our steal goes up. That's literally what our build is made for. Getting into those passing lanes and being able to steal the ball at will. Hence why we're called a ball hawk. But also, with the way that we built this, we're a shooting ball hawk, which means that with the shorter arms, we're able to shoot those open threes a lot easier. Playmaking, our ball handling goes up to a 76, which is very, very important here because you have to have the 80 ball handling. So when you get to a 99, you'll have that 80 ball handling for you to be able to do like all those crazy dribble moves and stuff. So at an 80 is pretty much where you want to be, and with this build you can get there with a 99 overall. Pretty much the only things that change there, we're going to go up to 205 pounds. Why? Because it gives us +1 on interior and a +1 on our strength, without knocking down anything else, which is very, very important there. And then what you could do is you could move your wingspan down by 1 just to get a just to be able to shoot the open threes a little bit better. As I mentioned earlier, you're going to be shorter, so which means it's going to be a lot easier for you to shoot open threes because you can have the smaller wingspan. But you don't have to. You don't have to take my advice, because you just need a 91 right here in order to get the ball hawk name. You have to have a 90 plus without having an 83 pointer. And also, with you moving your wingspan down though, it messes with your finishing. So if that's not something you want to mess with, then I don't recommend touching this, other than just keeping it default. Because if you increase it, you're gonna move your shooting down, and you're gonna have a -2, so you're only gonna have a 77 3-pointer and a 77 mid-range if you want to get a +1 on all of your defense. So I just recommend keeping it default for this, which is what I have. But with this build, you have lockdown takeover, you have sharpshooter takeover, you have playmaker takeover, and you have slasher takeover. So you have 1 takeover for each category, which is brilliant. So which means you can use the spot up shooter takeover, which I like because of how overpowered sharpshooter takeover actually is. You could do playmaker takeover, that's how you want to roll. Or if you just want to go lockdown defender to make people think that you're just a straight up god at defense, and then you can show them what's up on the 3-point line. Because they more than likely might leave you open on the 3-point line if you don't have that takeover. But if you have sharpshooter takeover, they're definitely going to know. But me personally, I just use spot up shooter takeover because it's just really, really good takeover to have. And playmaker is kind of useless this year, sort of has been. And slasher takeover is kind of useless since we're not really a finisher. We only get 3 finishing badges, so it's not like we're going to be using our badges to get contact finisher. So keep that in mind. I personally recommend spot up shooter because of how overpowered it is. Because when you use that sumbitch and you try taking a jump shot in a hot zone, your bar is gonna fucking skyrocket as big as it possibly can get. And that's one thing that you really need, especially when you have a little bit lower of a 3-point rating. But of course, since you have a high enough 3-point rating to get the spot up shooter takeover, why not just go ahead and use it? But like I said, you can use lockdown takeover just in case you want to have people leave you open on the 3, I guess, because that's also very good, is if people leave you open on the 3. But who knows? Who knows? I just like the spot up shooter takeover this year and whatnot. It's pretty good. Whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and show you the overall stats again. So here's what your stats will be at a 95. Obviously not a 99 because they still haven't fixed this issue right here. But of course you have 3 badges, which you can use whatever you want on these badges. I'm just going to put the badges how I would want to have them. So something like this is something that I would do. Slithery finisher, giant slayer, not worried about contact finisher because I'm not going to be really trying to drive. Then for, of course, playmaking, quick first step is really good, and I personally recommend bailout on at least bronze if you're going to be doing a lot of pass outs. Unpluckable is very, very good. Needle threader is good. And then I'm not a main ball handler, so I'm not really worried too much about handles for days. Or tight handles even, because I'm supposed to be catching off the shoot. That's sort of how you should be, is just able to catch off the shoot. So there's that. So I definitely recommend those badges that I have on right now. You can do downhill. I mean, since you are a guard, you can run downhill. That's if you want to. But you can't have dimer on this build, which is sad. But definitely quick first step is good to have since you can finish at the rim. And if you get that ball and they jump at you, if you see that lane open, catch, use that quick first step, and then get into that lane. Next is going to be defense. Obviously, clamps, intimidator are the most important. I definitely recommend running interceptor on gold, pickpocket on gold, and make sure you have that gold heart crusher as well. This is definitely something that is going to be important, because we do have that steal rating. This is what I talked about when it comes to the way that the build is made, the stats, the attributes. So reason why we are called this build, and the reason why we made this build, being able to get in to those passing lanes. So interceptor 100% is going to be very, very good. Having a heart crusher is very good. If you guys don't know, or if you guys do know and just, you know, maybe forgot, who knows. But anyway, for the people that, you know, may not realize, if you just dominate a person, not only will that person become cold, but everybody else who isn't playing as well, even if they're not the ones that are having the bad plays, they will get cold as well. Because it says right here, after successfully blocking or stealing the ball from an opponent, an additional penalty is given to the opposing player's takeover meter. Obviously, so that doesn't help. So that just, you know, it just sort of crushes their soul. But the more you do this, in the more cold that your guy is, especially with you being a shooting guard, which mostly means that you're going to be in the 2 or the 3 pretty much 90% of the time. And knowing me, I get put into the 3 a lot because we usually have my buddy, who's a point guard, a 6'7" point guard, who's pretty much a pure defender. Then we also usually get a point guard that's like a play shot or something like that, that never passes the ball and never plays good offense because they're a play shot. Look at me, I just want to curry slide all day and then not hit my shots. Anyway, Heart Crusher is really good just because you can just dominate your guys. Since you're usually playing a wing player, that is really, really good to have on, because if the wing player is stuck and cold and not able to do anything, that's just going to leave one less option for them. And then if your guy happens to do something stupid and get the ball stolen, or you block them, or whatever the situation may be with your Heart Crusher, it's just going to make everybody on the other team cold. Because even though the other team, like the other guys, are not doing anything wrong, they're still going to get cold from this one guy playing bad offense. Interceptor, obviously we know what that does. Pickpocket, we know what that does. Intimidator, clamps, the most important badges in the game for guards. So yeah, so this is why I'm picking these, because obviously steals and getting the other team cold easily as possible. Anyway, there's multiple ways to make this. You can make it as a hash sitter, or you can make it sort of like a catch and shoot in the corner type of deal. But either way, having catch and shoot is definitely going to be the main thing here. You're going to be mainly like off the ball, getting yourself open either in the corner or the wing or whatever the situation is, and then catching off the shoot. So literally that's just going to be the main focus of this. Obviously with hot zone hunter being a thing, green machine, deadeye, range extender. And depending on how you want to play this depends on what you want in Hall of Fame. So hot zone hunter, definitely you want Hall of Fame. Deadeye or green machine, you can also have Hall of Fame as well, or unless you want catch and shoot, or maybe you want to play the range extender on Hall of Fame so you can be able just to shoot more consistently. But this is if you're playing the hash. If you're playing the hash, I definitely recommend something like this, obviously, or maybe like this or this. But either way, definitely have this set up right here if you're playing the hash and sitting on the hash. If you're not, I definitely recommend running this right here. Have that silver range extender so you can still shoot a little bit easier from range, obviously, but also you have that gold corner specialist to be able to help you out just a little bit more shooting on the corner, especially with gold catch and shoot. And if they close out, you have deadeye. If you have a hot zone, you have hot zone hunter. Green machine, if you green it. Range extender obviously just helps from range, but yeah, it just helps a lot better. So there's just multiple ways that you can make this build, just depending on how you want to play this build with shooting. So if you want to play the hash, put on Hall of Fame range extender and then have everything else pretty much be the same. If you want to play the corner, you can just easily run silver range extender but still have gold corner specialist with Hall of Fame hot zone hunter. Hall of Fame hot zone hunter is just going to be the one consistent badge that you will see pretty much no matter how you play and what your badges are. Hall of Fame hot zone hunter is goated 100%, but it just depends on how you want to play, guys, so just keep that in mind. So obviously it just depends on how you want to play. You can just run Hall of Fame catch and shoot, because why not? But anyway, that's gonna be it for me, guys. Let me know what you guys think of this build in the comment section below. This build is actually pretty good. It's balanced a little bit between defense, shooting, and you also have a decent playmaking. For you not having playmaking in you, you still have decent playmaking. And also, other than that, I mean, what else to say other than this build just has potential to be one of, if not the best builds for defense and shooting. None of that two-way sharpshooter bullshit, none of that perimeter lockdown bullshit, because from the way that this is built, you know, you're gonna be able to steal like crazy. And that's the thing, if you play your cards right, and if you choose lockdown takeover and they don't expect you to be able to shoot on the three, make sure to get that. Okay, make sure to get that ball in the corner wide open. Make sure you get all your shooting badges, and then you just let that sumbitch fly from the 3-point line when they're leaving you open, and show them that they're just disrespecting your range. Anyway, guys, that's gonna be it for me. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hope that you guys enjoy this build if you happen to make it. And yeah, if defense ever gets a little bit fixed, who knows? I don't know how long it's going to take for this video to get out, but I'm pretty sure they're not even going to touch current gen 2K21 from the looks of it. But hope that you guys enjoyed. If this ever does get balanced, who knows? This might be the most like toxic build out there. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you on the next one. Later, everybody.
Bitch, start tripping, now I'm blue. Mega man, I can't win for losing, cause I got too many haters, man. Used to be the paper boy, grew up now I'm mega man. Player 1, player 2.